because you asked me the question, do I think Bleek reached his potential? So now with that coming out, you got to ask the question. I mean, we here now. We got to ask the question. Yeah, did he just reach his potential? Because you saying it, but the way Dame made it seem to me, the way I was thinking, like, was it the one time he wrote for him, or was it he wrote for him a lot?
It had to be multiple times.
You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not mad about that because Big did that for the people that he rolled with.
Yes, he did. You're right. No, you're right. You are right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we kind of overlooked that.
No, ain't nothing over.
No, I'm saying when we compared the two, like we always look at Bleek like, and it was shortcomings. You know what I'm saying? Because now that Dame released the information that, because I ain't gonna front, that's the only song that I ever thought that Jay wrote for him. I didn't think like, yeah, Jay wrote that joint. That's the only that one song was the one song that I was probably in my head like, oh, all right, he wrote that joint for you, and then whatever. You know what I'm saying? Until Dame released it that he was writing multiple songs. Multiple could be 2 or 3. It don't mean that he wrote a whole album worth of songs. But the way that we view him with the knowledge that we know, we never like looked at C's like that.
No, because C's came out of his own mouth with just, I was his little homie, and he just used it as a hustle. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna write your shit. But C's had no problem coming out saying my own mouth like, no, Big wrote that shit. Now I mean that verse that you love for me, Players Anthem, Big wrote that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Crush on You. I mean, Cam wrote that shit. If I'm not mistaken, Cam wrote that joint.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but C's ain't never had no problem saying that.
True.
And you accepted C's for who he was. If the music was dope, we not looking at him the same way Bleek, because Jay looked at him as this is the heir apparent. You know what I'm saying? Right after me is him.
Right.
So you held him in a different regard than C's. You know what I'm saying? C's already let you know. Listen, this is my big homie. I didn't rap. He wrote it for me. And then to tell you the truth, for a nigga that don't rap, he damn sure delivered.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He could deliver for somebody that don't write his own rhymes right too much.
Right.
And he had no problem letting you know. No, Big wrote that. Big was writing the rhymes then. And then when I did Crush on You, Cam wrote the joint. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So he just came out and didn't have no problem saying it. We didn't have no problem accepting that from him.
Right.
But if you getting set up to be, right after me is him. You know what I mean? He the heir to the throne. New, improved Jay-Z.
Right. Put all that pressure on him.
So, but it may have been a thing where Jay might have looked at it and said, well, Big did that for his crew, so I may not be able to mind writing some of his rhymes. It worked for Big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Big did what he had to do to get his crew over the hump. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so.
Yeah, I feel you. It's damn near feel weird. That's why hip hop feel weird, because it's none of these like subsidiary groups that's labels that I know of. Because I'm not going like that don't exist. I'm not really like tapped into the younger, you know what I mean? Like what's the subsidiary group? Like it's not like before we had those like the Bad Boys, the Rockafellers, the No Limits. You know what I mean? We had all these like not like the main joints like the fucking Def Jam.
Yeah,
or, you know what I'm saying?
No, because that came. You have TDE.
Right.
You have QC. You got Yo Gotti, which is CMG, right?
Yeah.
And you had Gucci with 1017.
Right. But didn't Gucci just release everybody?
He released damn near everybody except for like I think for I think except Pooh and like I think Fujiano or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Fujiano. I think Pooh and Fujiano is still with him. I think Fujiano's still locked up, I think. And Pooh. So I mean of course you ain't gonna let them go. You know what I'm saying? You gotta show because if you let other people go, they are free to still do the opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I understand Gucci like, no, I'm gonna hold on to my people that's locked up. That way you still because they ain't like I can let them. They out the will and deal and negotiate and be able to go record and all that. So I can understand that move. But yeah, but at the same time, other than that's why we gotta give. To me, you gotta give. Everybody look at other people as running or having better labels or running it better, but P was the only person that was able to do it with that many people and stay consistent with a lot of people. Now I'm pretty sure some of them people might have been disgruntled or whatever. It might have been issues because you running a business. It's going to be everybody not going to be happy all the time. But to have that many artists and a lot of them people drop, that was amazing. You got to give Master P credit for that because a lot of other labels they were successful, but they only had a few artists.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Because from what we hear, Cash Money before like the rest of the country, like the rest of us, the mainstream people, like people that's not from the South and all that, heard of Cash Money. I heard that they downsized. I heard there was way more people on Cash Money before we ever heard of them. I'm talking the mainstream people like we East Coast. You know what I mean? We here in Philly, so before we ever heard of them, they downsized. If I remember the story correctly. So Master P was probably the only person that did it like with a lot more people, a bigger roster of people.
Right.
Most people, their success came from a handful of people.
Right.
Remember, you had how many labels you had back then?
Back then?
You see what I'm saying?
It's great. We only named a handful of them. You still had Murder Inc. You still had So Def. We only named a handful of motherfuckers. Like that shit went on and on.
Yeah, you had Rap a Lot.
Right.
You had Suave House. You had Slip and Slide. You know what I'm saying? You got a bunch of people.
Right. Yeah, you had a gang. You had a gang of just those small niche, you know what I'm saying? Not niche. Those small subsidiary, you know what I mean, labels. You know what I mean? And now everything is like the mainstream. Like I'm not gonna say everything because you named the couple of ones, but before that shit was endless.